सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां दयाकरं दयाकारं दान्तं धर्मप्रवर्तकं प्रणमामि दयानन्दं मदाचार्यवरं परम् ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नमः श्री शङ्करानन्द गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलासमहामोहग्राह ग्रासैककर्मणे तत्पादाम्बुरुहद्वन्द्वसेवा निर्मलचेतसां सुखबोधाय तत्त्वस्य विवेकोऽयं विधीयते. Yesterday we saw the example of the munja grass and then the pith or the stalk that encloses the grass is as sharp as a blade, and so this was a activity which had to be done with a lot of care, and this was an activity which the ancient Vaidikas were very accustomed to, because they required that tender shoots of the grass for offering in the yajna and for other religious purposes. So this was an activity they did every day, like what we do now, mala making and lotus flower opening in the morning. Lotus flower comes like this, and then and then it is given, and everybody happily opens it and gives it back. And there is no danger because there are no thorns and blade like things, but here it has to be done very, very carefully. And so this is a verse, a mantra in the Kathopanishad. I looked it up, now I forgot, 3-17 I think, and Angushthamatraf Purushah Sada Jananam Hridi Sannivishtaha, and then what else? Munjadishikamiva pravrahet. Pravrahet means remove cognitively with such care so that you don't throw away what the expression is, you don't throw away the baby with the water in the bath. So you're putting a tub and bathing the baby, and then all soapy water is there, and then you have to throw away the soapy water. Along with that, you throw the baby away also and then look for the baby. So please don't do that. That is the idea. What should be thrown away? Soapy water. What should be retained? Baby. And so that is Drishtanta. In the Darshtanta, what should be thrown away? Koshas and Shariratrayam. Everything that is in short, no need to get flummoxed here, because in short, everything that changes has to be given up. And what should not be thrown away? Atma should not be thrown away. This we saw in the yesterday's thing. What number is that? 42. 42 we saw. And then Yatha Munjad Ishika Evam. Evam means in the same manner. Yatha Munjad Ishikat Evam Tatha Atma Yuktya Samudhritaha. Samudhritaha means you have to lift it up out of this whole conundrum of the variable. Lift it up means separate it completely so that it doesn't get in the head entangled again. And so the entanglement is as though, therefore the separation is also as though. But what appears to be real is samsara. Therefore, so for this as though samsara, we have to as though separate, and then here lift the baby out of the soapy water. So once it is clean, it doesn't get entangled again. And so this way, so just like yatha munjad ishika, evam, in the same manner, Atma samudhritaha. In the last several verses, what have we done? Extricated the Atma from the entanglement of the what? Body, the mind, the senses, the feeling I am karta, do worship, the feeling I am bhokta, experiencership, and feeling I am sleeper. Identification with the sleeper, identification with the dreamer, identification with the waker. Yes. Become awake, please. Okay? Yeah. So, identification with the sleeper, dreamer, and waker. So the waker identity, the sleeper dreamer identification usually does not constitute much of a problem. Because I didn't know anything, I was asleep. How can that identification cause problems? You don't even know you were identified with Karana Sharira. You don't know that. Avidya, Tamas, you don't know that. And so therefore, it doesn't cause problem. Dream also, in its time it may cause problem because you could see scary things based on your memory and based on your desires. But then, what is that? When you wake up, then you say, oh, that was just a dream. It's easy to falsify. You can easily tell yourself, that was a terrible dream, but it was dream. It was not during waking. It was not real. This is what we will tell when we wake up from the bad dream. What do we tell one another? I had a terrible dream, but thank God it's over. Not real. So in this way, the dreamer can be easily falsified because who am I now? Waker. From the standpoint of the waker, the sleeper can also be easily falsified because that was then I was asleep, now I am awake. Now what does the Shruti want you to do? The Shruti wants you to falsify the waker as well. The condition of waker is incidental to the Atma. It's an incidental superimposition, as it were, on to the Atma. It is not intrinsic to the Atma. If waker is an intrinsic definition, swabhava, swarupa of the Atma, then what will you be? Always awake. 2 o'clock also awake. Why? Atma. You'll be rocking back and forth. Body may be tired, but what happens? You are still awake. But that's not the case. The waker is also an incidental attribute, so to speak. The Atma is free of attributes. So therefore it's a superimposed attribute, it's an incidental attribute to Atma. It is because Atma is free of not only the dreamer status and sleeper status, the Atma is also free of what? Waker status. And so, therefore what? Therefore, what is Atma? Neither sleeper, nor dreamer, nor waker. It is like a visiting the dream state. I am a visitor. I visit the dream state, experience the dream state, go to a restaurant in the dream state, become bhokta in the dream state, eat lot of laddus. Laddu means ball of calories in the dream state. Why? Because as a waker, the person has diabetes and cholesterol. Cannot have laddus. Therefore, in the dream, binges. You know the meaning of binges? Overeats, ODs on laddus in the dream. Safe, nothing happened. Correct? Yeah. Blood sugar did not even vary. And then the cholesterol also in fact came down after waking up. So therefore the dreamer is a place where I visit. Sleep state is also a state where I visit. And then waking state? No, here is where I live. Permanent residence. This is the problem. We make the waking state permanent residence, and then the sleep state is a holiday, and the dream state also, depending on whether it's a nightmare or a dream, another holiday. The waking state has to be the holiday. That is what I have to make into a visit. I am visiting the waking state. When? Right now. You can say that if you are awake. Right now, I am visiting what? The waking state. Waker is Atma. Atma transcends the waker. Atma is much more than the waker. Much more than the waker, because if Atma is the waker, then I'll be, and waker is also Atma, I will be awake all the time. But I am not awake all the time. And what is this Jiva? Constant visitor in the three states of sleeping, dreaming, awakening. But the waking state is real. Why? Only reason why the waking state is real is because in this state alone, one is both Karta and Bhokta. That is why it becomes real. Because here I can work for the thing. Here means in the waking state, I can work for the things that I want and see the results of my action fructify, and then take in those results, eat those results, enjoy those results, or at least hope to enjoy those results. And so therefore, one is tethered to the waking state, and this causes a mistake. Therefore, the Atma has to be lifted from the five bodies, from 5 places of mistake, and the 3 states of existence, waking, dream and sleep, etc. And then only Parabrahma, what is left? Sharirat Tritayat Samudhritaha. So, once it has been removed cognitively through understanding that the waking state, the dream state, the sleep state and all the koshas are as though attributes of the Atma, incidental to the Atma, nothing is intrinsic to the Atma, then Param Brahma Jayate. Jayate means from Jan. What does it mean? Is born. Brahman is finally born. Can Brahman be born? No. Then what does it mean? Brahman is born. Brahman is within the ken of my understanding. To this Jiva who was asleep till now, not really a sleep state, asleep to the reality of oneself. Anadi avidya nidra suptaha. So for the sleeping person, sleeping the sleep of beginningless avidya, finally awakened and looks at oneself and says, oh, Brahman is born. Brahman is not born. Brahman comes into the ken of my awareness, within the realm of my awareness. For whom? For the person who was asleep to Brahman. And this is talked about in the 70th verse or something of the second chapter of the what? Bhagavad Gita. Okay, just checking. Yeah, second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha Pashyato munehe. It's like night and day. To the jivas, to all the jivas asleep to their nature, the life of the jnani, they are asleep, completely asleep. Yanisha sarva bhutanam. For all the beings, that which is night, meaning unto that reality to which they are asleep, the sanyami means what? The person of equanimity, the enlightened being, the person of self-knowledge is awake. Oh, poor jnani has insomnia. No! No! Awake to that reality. What is that reality? Advaita. To that non-dual reality, to the reality of Brahman as myself, the one who is awake is the only one who is awake in this verse, and the rest of the people are what? Fast asleep. But they too wake up. Even Kumbhakarna woke up every 6 months. Yeah, who is Kumbhakarna? Ravana's brother. Ravana's brother, very tamasic, embodiment of tamas. But he was a brute force. That's why he was the commander-in-chief of Ravana's army. And then Ravana was a great bhakta, and he said, I have pleased Shiva, 2 boons he is going to give me, one for me, one for you. What is the use of boons? No, you need this, come with me. He drags him. And he says, ask for Nitya. Nitya means moksha here. Ask for that forever. And then in between he snoozed off. Shiva manifested himself, yes, 2 boons. Okay, he will say the first one. And wake up, ask. What do you want? Shiva said, Nidra, he said, instead of Nitya. Nidra means sleep. Tathastu. And he fell down right there. Yeah. Ravana was very cross. Look at what you have done. Look at this. And Kumbhakarna was like a hill. Okay, yeah. How am I going to take him home? What have you done over here? Take back this boon. Lord Shiva says, once it's given, it's not taken back. A decision I have made, you asked for the boon. I made the decision to give you the boon. You yourself asked for the boon. He himself asked. See, he himself said Nidra. I can't take it back. But there is one remedy. What? You can use your boon to mitigate his boon. And then he said, okay, please please let him be awake at least sometime. So then, what did Lord Shiva say? 6 months awake, 6 months asleep. So all these bhutani, they are also awake. They are not that they are asleep all the time. They are asleep selectively to certain realities. The realities of themselves being, the reality of themselves being Satchidananda, the reality of themselves being nothing but Brahman. Unto that they are fast asleep. But unto their own reality, what kind of reality? Pratibhasika reality. What is Pratibhasika reality? Subject mithya within mithya. One's own subjective reality. And how does it express itself? I see it, therefore it must be there, whatever the it is. But the Vyavaharika reality expresses itself how? It is there, therefore I see it. So, mired in the pratibhasika reality means they are awake. These beings are awake to the pratibhasika reality. Conflict, strife, and how to fulfill this desire, this nonsensical desire, that nonsensical desire, how to do this, how to become rich, how to become famous, and how to make sure that you don't become rich and famous, only I am rich and famous. All these things comprise the reality unto which the other beings who are steeped in the tamas of avidya, unto which reality they are awake, the jnani is fast asleep. Night and day. Jnani and ajnani's lives are night and day, and so therefore here the samsara nivritti takes place how? By awakening to the reality that is occupied by, inhabited by, assimilated by the jnanin, by the person of self-knowledge. And so when that finally happens, it looks like this knowledge is born. Tasmat Brahma Jayate. Or Tavad Brahma Jayate. At that time Brahman is born. Brahman is not born. Brahman is finally under the radar for me to understand. It's finally under the radar. And so therefore under the radar of my understanding. And so therefore we saw that. And now from 42nd to 43rd verse, there should have been at least 10 more verses of explanation. Are there 10 more verses of explanation? No. So that means we cannot look at the 43rd verse without giving some background details. But we will chant it and then go and look at what all is indicated here. Paraparatmanorevam yuktya sambhavitaikata tatvamasyadi vakyaihi sa bhagatyagena lakshyate. Paratparatmanorevam yuktya samvitaikata tatvamasyadi vakyaiha bhagatyagena lakshyate. Yeah, one extra one came, yeah. So, sa lakshyate, that is the basic sentence. So, lakshyate, so that we have to explain lakshyate. What is this sa? Ekata. Ekata is the last word in the first line, hidden in a sandhi. See if you can look for it. You found it? Yeah, congratulations. Sambhavita ekata lakshyate. Sa sambhavita ekata lakshyate. Lakshyate is implied, is indicated. Lakshyate. Natu vakshyate, lakshyate. So, natu uchyate, lakshyate. So then, so therefore, uchyate means is said. Lakshyate means is implied. And that we have to see. And then, so sa ekata. Ekata means what? Oneness. Ekata, oneness. Oneness, that oneness is implied. What is that oneness? The oneness that was sambhavita, established. The oneness that was established is implied. And so, so the oneness that was established is implied. What is the oneness? So, oneness means what? It should be what I was thinking to be 2 it has to be one. So so there should be two things which I thought separate and now which have been established as what? One. What is that now? Para and apara. Apara is hidden in para, sandhi. It's a hidden sandhi. Otherwise, para, para. You say it is, what is that? Repeating itself. And in a way, it's the cleverness of the author, because both are really para. So with understanding you can say para is para, or you can so para para, or you can say para plus apara. The cleverness, you can see why he is not an ordinary person. You can see the beauty of the poetry, even if you are just beginning to dabble in Sanskrit, you can see how beautiful the poetry is. So para plus para, para plus what? Apara. So para and apara. Para and apara, and then Atmanoho. So now, how many Atmas are there? Only one. We know that. Why? Because we have been studying for 1.5 months. So 2 months almost, we know that. We know that how many Atmas are there? One. But we also know that the Jiva is addicted to what? Samsara. Addicted to samsara. So the Jiva is samsaraholic, like alcoholic, given to alcohol. So the person is given to samsara. Addicted to samsara means what? Addicted to various sadhanas and sadhyas, as we are seeing in the Bhashya of the Kenopanishad. So when in my life I have multiple sadhyas and multiple sadhanas, then what prevails is confusion. I don't know where to go. Sadhana means what I have to pursue. Sadhya means pursuits. Sadhana means what means am I going to use to bring those pursuits to fruition. This is sadhana and sadhya, means and goals. So when you have many means and many goals at the disposal, life is very oppressive. Because one goes from one thing to another aimlessly. And then what? Not finding what one really wanted comes back. And then licks the wounds, and then because there is some battering that is happening, and then goes away again, off to another tangent, and then that tangent means dead end, and then comes back, then goes somewhere else and comes back. Once I was going with Pujya Swamiji into one of the rural areas. We were going to one Aim for Seva village. A village that had been recently adopted by All India Movement for Seva. And it was so remote, so removed, and also on top of a hill, so a lot of up and down. And then what? So we were in, only the jeep could go. So myself and Swamiji in a jeep, and then we are going, and then you would just go and the road would run out. There is no more road. And no sign that says dead end, please turn back, nothing, no sign. Just then we had to use our own viveka and turn around because there is no way to go. There is a thick forest, and one time when we stopped there was some growling sound also somewhere. So then better turn back. So then you turn back and then you go another way, and then the mountainous roads are all switchbacks like that. And then you go to, and then you think it is there. In those days, no phones, nothing. And even if there are phones, it's useless because there is no network there. No network. If you have a phone, you go like this, that's all. That's all it is. No use having the phone. And so there, and in those days, there were no phones. And then there was one person with us who had been there one time, and happily had forgotten the way. I don't blame him at all because nobody knew the way. And so we went, came back, went, came back, went, came back. Oh, that tree looks familiar, but then there are 1,000 other trees like this. So then that man tied his angavastram to the tree so that there is a white, shawl on the tree. Then we kept coming back to the same tree. So then Pujya Swamiji was very quiet, uncharacteristically quiet. And then I thought, I wonder what he is thinking. And so, somehow we reached the village to just complete the story. And then they had all been waiting for us and we were able to come back. It was much later than thought. It was 2 o'clock in the morning by the time we returned. And then the next day, morning class. This whole example came out. Many, many sadhyas, many, many sadhanas. Each one is what? Dead end. It doesn't even have to be marked dead end. It peters out. The road itself is not there. What are you going to do? You have to come back. Only to take the wrong road again. Why is it a wrong road? Because it doesn't give me what I want. Why is it a wrong sadhya? Because it doesn't give me what I want. Who are you to sit here and tell me what I want? Because the Shastra only addresses that which is universal. The Shastra will not talk about, supposing somebody has a dream. What is the dream? To build this kind of a house. This many windows, this many floors, this many doors, and this kind of an eastern exposure to the rising sun on the banks of the Ganga. I want to build. If somebody says, that is not the subject matter of the Shastra. You look in any Upanishad, that is not going to be addressed. Why? Because it's one person's sadhya. Sadhya means what? Goal. So, it's one person's sadhya. We are not interested in one person's sadhya. We are interested in the universal sadhya. What is the universal sadhya? Has to be clear. What is the universal sadhya? I want to be happy. That is the universal sadhya. Don't say moksha because people will confuse it for mocha. They don't even know what is moksha. Yes. Mocha, espresso, okay, I have to go to Starbucks. That's what they will say. So, this is what they will say. Moksha they don't know. Happiness they know. And that is what they want. How are you going to get happy? By going here, by doing that. And then what happens? The cup is full and the cup is emptied immediately. And then what? Same sadness. Come back. Come back to myself. Come back to myself means stop the pursuits briefly and then what? Lick the wounds and then lick the wounds of hopelessness because many, many times this has happened. And then 5 jobs and 6 marriages later come to Vedanta. This is what happens. Finally come. Why? Because thinking that this happiness is something that is away from me is the problem. And not seeing that the happiness is centered on me and the whole idea is removal of the avidya that is keeping me away from this happiness, and that which I have to understand, that is what is the avidya nirasanam, the removal of avidya should be the means. That should be the sadhana is not understood. And it's a heavy price to pay. Life after life after life, job after job after job, degree after degree after degree. And if there is no degree, pedigree. I am born in a noble family. Who cares? So, after all this, life after life, at least if it was one life, okay, finish. It's done, over with. No. life after life, same mistake. Same jiva in a different body, and what? Same mistake. Back like a weed. You know how a weed is there, you prune the garden, take away all the weeds, and only the flowers are looking nice. And then the dandelion, which thinks of itself as a flower, why should it not? You say it's a weed, it doesn't think it's a weed. You remove it, and then after you cut it, you put spray something, and then 2 months later, I'm back, tada! And then the Purushartha Nishchaya is very, very important to understand the 42nd, which one? 43rd verse. 43rd, 44, 45 cannot be understood without Purushartha Nishchaya. Otherwise, what will happen? So, this is what is told in the 2nd chapter. What is that? Vyavasayatmika buddhihi eka iha kuru nandana. You are the delight of the Kuru clan. Meaning everybody is banking on you not only to win the war with these useless people, but also to win this endless battle between what I want, what I really want, and what I am going to pursue. This endless battle also, everybody in the Kuru clan is waiting for you to be redeemed from samsara so that they can also see that this is a possibility for them. And so what do you need to do for that? To drop the addiction of samsara, I have to do what is needed. What is needed here? Purushartha Nishchaya. Purushartha Nishchaya means Nishchaya, definite decision. This indecision is the problem. 1 minute this way, another minute that way. This is also good, that is also good. So why can't I have samsara and moksha at the same time? This is a good idea. Little bit of moksha, little bit of samsara. Very nice. Why can't you have? For the same reason that you cannot have day and night in the same place at the same time. Can you have day and night in the same place at the same time? No. Can you have light and darkness in the same place at the same time? No. That is why you can't have moksha and samsara at the same time. So therefore, Purushartha Nishchaya. Decide what you want. First thing. Decide that you want to once and for all let go of yourself as the unhappy, unfulfilled, lacking one. And when you let go of that, what happens is that there is a direction that opens up. Up till now, little bit there, little bit here. I think I'll catch this bus. I think I'll go there. I think I'll do that. What is this? Going all over. And so, this dead end has to be stopped. Going and, getting caught up in various dead ends has to be stopped. And then what? Then I will have a road that opens up. And then the next thing is to decide to go on that road. First decide what I want and then follow that road. Follow that road despite the fears and uncertainties that are there, because the truth is, even in the previous roads, they were also filled with uncertainty. They were also filled with doubt. They were also filled with despair. You have nothing to lose except your ignorance and the whole and wholeness to understand as yourself. And so, the road that opens up is called Vichara, the road of Vichara. What kind of Vichara? Pramana Vichara. So, step 1 is what? Purushartha Nishchaya. Step 2, Pramana Vichara. So, one Vichara means enquiry. So the enquiry becomes a thing to be pursued. Why? The enquiry becomes a thing to be pursued because this bondage is not real. So it has to be inquired into. The bondage that I feel, the lack that I feel, and the things I have to pursue are not real. But yet they look real. They make me feel imprisoned in my own notions. I am imprisoned. And so therefore the reality of this bondage has to be looked into along with the ways of its removal. How to remove a bondage that is not really there. And therefore pramana vichara. Pramana vichara also because this bondage is due to avidya, and how to remove the avidya therefore becomes the topmost priority in one's life. How to remove the avidya? Shall I look for it and then remove it? Atma has to be taken out from avidya. So then, where is the Atma? Does it have a location? What does it look like? For all this, Shravanam is necessary. And then, the removal of the avidya can only happen through the words of Vedanta. That understanding is necessary. That is the culmination of pramana vichara, because I have tried all the other pramanas, they don't work. Can you look at the Atma? No. Can you hear the Atma? No. Can you infer the Atma? No. The nature of the inferer is who we are talking about. Or maybe Atma doesn't exist. How can you say that with a straight face? Are you here? Yes. You can never deny that. That conscious being's existence can never be denied. And so therefore here, this decision when it's made, the pramana vichara culminates into sharanagati of Vedanta Shastra and Acharya. First Vedanta Shastra, the Upanishad and all the other works of Vedanta. Sharanagati means what? Surrender. Surrender to Shastra, surrender to teacher is very important because there is no other way of knowing it. How will I know it? There is no other way. No options are there. All the options go when the truth is at hand. Because the truth is not subject to options. No, not options. Sometimes Atma is samsari and sometimes it is free. It's not for options. There's only one truth, and that truth is you. This is what has to be understood. So for that, the commitment to the Upanishad, which translates into an additional commitment to the teacher, to the teachers of this. Why? Because it's a package deal. So you say, I want to go on a tour, and the tour guide comes for free. And the tour guide, you're in a new country. You go somewhere, and then the tour guide will tell you, this is this particular building, this is a government building, here is a park, here is this, here is the high court. All these things they will show you. Because you don't know, you don't speak the language. Similarly, the Acharya becomes a tour guide of the Upanishad, showing you whatever is to be seen. And not only that, showing you, see, a good tour guide will say, these gardens, are built by this particular, are the brainchild of this particular architect. And then if you go to this particular country, you will see another set of garden also planned by the same architect. Similarly, the Acharya is trained by who? Their Acharya, who was trained by their Acharya to show Samanvaya. Samanvaya means the absence, the total absence of internal contradictions in the Upanishads and the total absence of any other pramana contradicting the Upanishad. Because the Upanishad is a special means of knowledge. It is the giver of the truth in its own right. It cannot be replaced by anything else. So I have to have Shraddha for the words of the Upanishad, because then only they will reveal. Then only they will reveal. And so therefore, this Shraddha is translated to the giver of the teaching, because the pramana has to be livened, activated. The Shastra is a heap of words, Shabdarashi. The one who makes the mala out of this Shabdarashi, what kind of mala? Mahavakya mala. The one who weaves a Mahavakya mala out of this Shabdarashi is the teacher. So that the Shabdarashi means a heap of words. You can't make, it's like a word salad. The Upanishad, you can't make head or tail of it. How can you understand? So the one that highlights the mantras, highlights the Mahavakya and teaches how, despite yourself, you understand. Not because of yourself. In spite of yourself, you understand. This is a great wonder. And how this understanding takes place is what is explained in verse number 44. Let us see. First of all, it is said, Lakshyate natu uchyate. Let us catch hold of the last word of the, what is that verse? Last word of the shloka, Lakshyate. So, this is a particular device, a teaching device, which also has its bearing in our everyday language. So, uchyate means what? Like I will say something, I will vadami. What will I say? Bring me some water. Please bring some water. This is the direct meaning. This is what is called the direct meaning. You don't have to go for indirect meaning. Why? The direct meaning is very, very clear. There is there is a cohesiveness, there is an order, a request, please bring, that is the request. Anaya, lot, you can say, bring. What? Jalam anaya. Jalam means what? Water. Jalam anaya, please bring some water. Bring me some water. There is a kind of an imperative meaning like now, not tomorrow morning, now. That is what lot, this lakara is. The imperative mood lends that meaning of now. It has to be done immediately. Bring a glass of water, jalam anaya. It's very clear. So, this is a vachyartha, means the direct shabdartha, the direct meaning of the words yield themselves. Yield themselves. They give the words cough up their meanings easily. You don't have to look, oh, is there a double meaning? There is no double meaning. Bring me a glass of water, jalam anaya. There is no double meaning, triple meaning. And you don't have to wonder. It is a very clear thing. Sometimes the words are not very clear. And what is the classic example? Classic example is the white runs. White runs? White color runs? No, even if you take it, white color runs in the wash. No, it doesn't run. In fact, it's the only color that doesn't run is white color. White runs. Shveto dhavati. Classic example, Vedic example. What did you understand? Nothing. So here you have to bring in another word. What is that? Ashvaha. Ashvaha means? Okay. So, Ashvaha, horse. The white horse runs. But why did the person say white runs? because they are in a place where it is illegal to gamble on horses. They don't want other people to know. They want only you to know. So they just very cryptically say, white runs. White runs. This is one particular kind of Lakshana Vakya. Another classic example. Gangayam Ghoshaha. Ghoshaha means a hamlet of, what are they? Little huts, houses, small village. Gangayam. Which case? Basket case. That's all. Yeah. Locative case. Singular or plural? Singular. Gangayam. Gangayam. In the Ganga, we are translating now. In the Ganga, how many Gangas? One Ganga. Ghoshaha. Village. How many villages? One. 7111. Correct? Yeah, to speak your language. Okay. So, 71 and then what? 11. Gangayam Ghoshaha. And translate this. What do you get? In the Ganga there is a village. There is a village in the Ganga. And what are the inhabitants of this village saying? Glub, 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 glub. Right? So here, what is implied? What is indicated? Yeah. So the Gangayam has to be given up. You cannot say Gangayam and then Ghoshaha. You have to say on near the Ganga. Near the Ganga, the village is. Yes, we say this all the time. My house is on the sea. If you are on the sea, are you living in a boat or what? No, it's a house. But it's built on the sea. On the sea means it has ocean view. That's all it is. Like this we talk every day. So the Lakshana is not just, confined to the realm of the Upanishads. The Lakshana is there, this deployment of words in particular manner is there everywhere in everybody's language. So, even the expression Jalamanaya, bring me some water, can have a different meaning if I am at a club or at a bar. And then what else? I don't want to know, other people to know. So bring me something that looks like water but is not water. That also could be there. So therefore, the implied meaning of the word is resorted to when the direct meaning does not yield the intended understanding. And in fact, this is, as I said, Lakshana, there is a whole work on Lakshana in Sanskritam. We are only dealing with baby Lakshanas. And we'll see, with three kinds we are dealing with. To keep things simple, because that is what we need to know as far as this thing goes. What is this thing? As far as the Shastra goes. But there are so many other kinds of Lakshana. There is a Vyangya Lakshana, a sarcastic Lakshana. That is all discussed, how to use it, when to use it, when not to use it. Here comes Brihaspati. Brihaspati means what? Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter means Guru, learned person. Here comes that Brihaspati. Means what? Here comes the Manda, the dullest person in the world is coming. This is Vyangya Lakshana. Vyangya means the deployment of sarcasm. All this is there. If you read what is that? Abhignana Shakuntalam by, who wrote it? Kalidasa. Or you read Swapna Vasavadatta by Bhasa. You read all these things, these various Lakshanas will be discussed, and in the commentary of these plays, they are pointed out by the people who have done these studies of these plays, etc. Very, very interesting. But for our purposes, 3 kinds of lakshana are talked about. One is called jahat lakshana. So ta plus la, what happens? Yeah, double la, torli. Yeah, that is the sutra. Okay. If you don't understand what I am saying, doesn't matter. Okay. So the jahal lakshana, jahat plus lakshana, jahal lakshana. So jahat plus lakshana. Lakshana means the type of implied meaning here. Jahat means please give up the direct meaning. Gangayam Ghoshaha is the classic example. In that, what are you going to give up? Ghoshaha or Gangayam? Gangayam. Otherwise, you will be left with nothing. You give up Ghoshaha, and then what are you left with? Gangayam. In the Ganga. Is that a complete sentence? No. So the location here is shifted. It's a shifting location, so the immediate meaning of the sentence is given up, and then that is why it is called jahat lakshana. You have to understand it slightly differently. Then if there is jahat lakshana, there is also ajahat plus lakshana, ajahal lakshana. Ajahat, if jahat means giving up, ajahat means not giving up. Very simple. Ajahal lakshana. What is ajahat lakshana? You don't give up the meaning of the sentence, but you clarify it by bringing something else. What is the classic example? Shveto dhavati. The white runs. But, okay, we need something here. White horse runs. You also have to supply only that which makes sense over there. You can't say white zebra runs. You can't say you have to bring in zebra. Why? Because zebra is not all white. You can't say, you can say only things that come in all white, you can say, and then things that are capable of running, you add. This becomes ajahat lakshana. Then there is another kind of lakshana, which is what? Jahal lakshana. Jahat plus ajahat, jahajal lakshana. So, meaning a complicated lakshana by which you give up something and then you retain something in order to get the meaning. As in, I go to the bar and then what? I don't want other people to, or I go to a party, even better. I go to a party and then I don't want other people to know. So I will say, please bring me some water, and give a look to the waiter. Give a look of understanding. Meaning, I'll make it worth your while. Don't worry, I'll give you a little tip afterwards. Don't worry. Bring me some water, okay? Water, I will say loudly. Then, what happens? Here it is jahat plus ajahat. Water is there, okay? But it's mixed with what? Something else. It's mixed with something else. Water is there, water is retained, because whatever that other thing that if they bring it like that, it's not drinkable, correct? Unless one has had a lot of experience, I suppose. Yeah. And so therefore what? The water mixed with something else. So both jahat is there, giving up, you give up the meaning of the word water, but you retain that as well, and then you add something else to it in order to make sense. So these are the three kinds of lakshanas that are pertinent to us. Why? In order to understand Shastra Vakya. What is Shastra Vakya? Mahavakya. And in English, if you keep this Mahavakya, you are God. Oh my God, yeah. Get me out of here. How can I be God? There is a lakshana there. There is a, what kind of lakshana? Jahat plus ajahal lakshana. Jahad ajahal lakshana. Something is given up, something is kept. What is given up? What is kept? Let's find out at 11 o'clock. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Harihi Om.